Hello everyone. Today in our video review we will consider a trading tool that automatically determines price channels on different time frames. With its help, even beginners can easily determine the direction of the bullish trend, indicated on the chart by green parallel lines and the bearish one by red. We are talking about the Auto Trend Channels indicator for binary options. It is suitable not only for beginners, but also for experienced traders, since it is adapted to various trading styles: scalping, day trading, and swing trading. Auto Trend Channels can be used on any time intervals and assets. Unlike some other technical indicators, it does not overload the chart, and its settings are easy to adapt to your own preferences. Now, a few words about how to install Auto Trend Channels in the MetaTrader 4 terminal. The Auto Trend Channels indicator and our template with all the settings are installed in the MetaTrader 4 platform in a standard way. Look for a link to download the archive with the indicator, as well as instructions for installing it in the description under this video. Let's look at the operating principle and key settings of this indicator. In order to draw a price corridor, the Auto Trend Channels indicator automatically analyzes historical data, usually the last 100 or 200 bars depending on its settings, and identifies several highs and lows for this period, which then become the basis for plotting the first version of the channel on the chart. Then, when prices go beyond the set range, the channel angle can change, maintaining parallelism of the lines. Note that there is a marker next to the channel indicating which period it belongs to. If you click on it, the borders will extend into the future, demonstrating possible price dynamics. For clarity, the color of the lines changes depending on the direction of price movement. If the asset demonstrates an upward trend, the channel borders are colored green, and if it is declining, they are colored red. In addition, the width of the lines varies depending on the time frame. The older the analyzed period, the thicker they are. If you are just starting to trade binary options, this analytical tool will help you avoid transactions against the main trend. It will indicate the direction of price movement of higher time frames. For example, knowing where the support and resistance levels of different time periods are located, the trader will know the degree of significance of each of them and will not get confused in determining the most promising direction of trading. For example, this is how prices test the strength of the resistance level of the daily range. Considering that large institutional players usually work on this time horizon, the border of the daily price corridor acts as a significant resistance on the path of 5-minute timeframe quotes. As we can see, the Euro-Australian dollar rate failed to overcome this barrier to a certain extent, and the currency pair quotes began to drift right under this resistance. Seeing the trend lines of different periods plotted on the chart, the trader will no longer have any questions about why flat arose here. The answer is quite obvious. Now, all that remains for him is to master the methods of analyzing price movements within such channels and learn how to use them to his advantage in practice. We will talk about this a little later, but for now, let's deal with the settings. The Auto Trend Channels indicator has few settings, and they are all divided into 3 blocks. The main settings are channel settings. In this block, the main parameter is minimum history for channel information. It is responsible for the minimum history depth by which the channels of this indicator are drawn. By default, its value is set to 200, but we recommend increasing it to 500. The next important parameter is channel formation algorithm, which allows you to select one of 3 algorithms taking into account the accuracy of the analysis of price extremes. The display of the channel completes this settings block, where you can set one of the options for displaying channel lines. The next block is color options, where you can select a color scheme. There is only one parameter, color scheme, and as the name suggests, it is responsible for the color scheme and line thickness on the chart. Auto colors will be selected automatically depending on the chart background. The dark mode uses a dark theme, and light uses a light one. Next comes the algorithm display settings block, where you create a method for drawing channels on the chart. The drawing channels on chart parameter allows you to select display modes. If you select Adaptive Display Algorithm, only channels relevant to the selected period will be visualized. For example, for the current H1, M30, H1 and all senior periods will be shown, and for the basic M5, M1, M5 and all senior periods, and accordingly, all channels displays all channels. Now let's look at the rules for trading binary options using this indicator. There are 2 main methods of trading using the Auto Trend Channels binary options indicator. The first is rebound trading when trades are opened when prices touch the channel boundaries drawn by the indicator. And the second is trading on the breakout of the middle line when the market is entered after the price crosses the central line of the channel. Now let's look at each of them in more detail. Opening a position on a rebound from the channel boundaries, the trader expects that the price will return inside after an unsuccessful attempt to break through it. This approach is especially effective during a flat period when the asset moves within the established price corridor. At this point, you can open a trade with a good risk-return ratio if you trade on Forex or with a high probability of closing a binary option in the money. Let's consider this situation using a specific example. Pay attention to the red price corridor of the M15 period. It demonstrates a clear downward trend. Therefore, the transaction should be opened exclusively for the purchase of put options. In this situation, the trader needs to wait for the rebound of the currency pair from the upper boundary of the channel, which acts as resistance, and make a trade. In this case, the sequence of actions for buying put options will look like this. 1. We make sure there is a downward trend, the price corridor is red. 2. The maximum of the current or previous candle touches the upper border. 3. The last bar closed with a decrease inward. 4. At the opening of a new candle, we buy a put option. For buying call options, the actions will be mirrored. 1. We make sure there is an upward trend. The price corridor should be green. 2. The minimum of the current or previous candle touches the lower border. 3. The last bar closed with an increase inward. 4. At the opening of a new candle, we buy a call option. As we have already said, there is another way to use this indicator, to open trades on the breakout of the middle line in the direction of the main price trend. To open a trade using this strategy, wait for the bar to close behind the middle line in the direction of the main trend. It is easier to navigate by color. If the channel lines are red, we wait for the candle to close behind the middle line in the direction of the downward trend. If they are green, we wait for it to close behind the middle line in the direction of growth. Thus, the order of actions according to the second method will look like this. To buy a call option, you need 1. Make sure that the channel lines are green, which means the trend is up. 2. The minimum of the current candle is below the middle line, and the closing price is above it. That is, the channel middle line has been crossed from bottom to top. 3. At the opening of a new candle, we buy a call option. The order of actions for buying put options is as follows. First, make sure that the channel line is red, the trend is down. Second, the maximum of the current candle is above the middle line and the closing price is below it. The channel middle line has been crossed from top to bottom. And third, at the opening of a new candle, we buy a put option. We recommend choosing an expiration time of 3 to 5 candles, depending on the asset you are trading and the results of testing on historical data. So, the Auto Trend Channel's binary options indicator can be a great addition to your trading strategy. If you do not have one yet, you can make trades based on the channel boundaries. However, like any other technical analysis tool, this indicator does not guarantee 100% accuracy of its signals, especially in conditions of market volatility, when the channel boundaries change quickly due to the fact that prices constantly update the extremes on which they are built. Despite this, do not be afraid to experiment and adapt it to your needs, creating your own trading strategies on its basis. At the same time, remember that channels built on higher timeframes are usually more reliable than their short-term counterparts, and yet, do not forget that any strategy or indicator is just a tool that you need to learn how to use correctly. Be sure to check and test the indicator on a home account of historical data, while not forgetting about the rules of risk and capital management. And also choose only proven brokers, which can be found on our website in our regularly updated rating. If you like the video, like it and subscribe to our channel. Register on our website, and you will be constantly up to date with the latest news from the field of binary options trading, cryptocurrency, and the Forex market. Thank you all for your attention. We wish you all good profit and safe trading.